Hello, welcome to our unique learning system language arts lesson. My name is Charlotte Lucas. I am an autism low incidence mentor teacher with Richmond Public Schools, and I am so happy to be able to work with you today. The name of our book today is Bright Lights and Colors. I will go over some vocabulary. We'll do a picture walk of the book. I'll read the book to you. We'll discuss story elements. Then we will answer some questions related to the text. Our focus today will be on how to summarize the story, how to use test-taking strategies to answer questions, and how to determine the author's purpose. All right, we have a lot to do. Let's get started. The name of our book is Bright Lights and Color. Some of the vocabulary I'd like to go over with you before we get started is reflection and absorbed. Reflect and absorb. Some of the waves reflect or bounce off an object. If you look at the picture of the mirror, you see light waves bouncing off the mirror. They travel back to your eyes. Some of the light waves are absorbed. If you look at the sun, the light waves are being absorbed into the black street. If you're thinking about bouncing, if light waves are bouncing, it's as if you're just taking a ball and bouncing it. It's bouncing off. If you're thinking about absorb, then think about a paper towel that wipes up a spill. The paper towel, when you've spilled something, if you put a paper towel on it, it will absorb the water. Another thing that we want to consider when we're thinking about our vocabulary is that the light that bounces off is the light that you see. So that's our vocabulary for today, reflect and absorb. Let's do a picture walk. All right, bright lights and color. The picture walk is designed to give you an idea of what the book is about. In this picture, we see that the students are being given parts. So it seems like they're being given parts in a play. This is a picture of stage settings. You have a stage setting that is light and a stage setting that is dark. And we're going to figure out why does that happen. Has something to do with the lighting, I'm sure. And then this is a wonderful picture of the different types of shapes that the color waves have. So each color has a different wave. In each wave one is different from the other. And here again, we see light that is being reflected and light that is being absorbed. Here we see again that the apple, some of the light rays are being absorbed by the apple, and then the color red is bouncing off, and that's the color that we see. Another picture of how the light waves here are bouncing off the white shirt, but no color is happening. The shirt is white. And here, this is a picture of a spray. The water is spraying the yard, and when the water hits the light, it separates the color and we get a rainbow. Now, in this picture, we see this chair is black. These are the light waves, and the light waves are being absorbed because none of the colors are being bounced back. So this color black is absorbing all of the color. And here we have our director, Miss Thomas, who is the play director, and it looks like she's telling this student about the color white and how the color bounces off, and the color black and how the color is absorbed. And that should make a difference in their settings. All right, let's go back and look at the types of questions that we might have if we are as we're going through our book. The types of questions or assessment that you might get once you have read a book, you may get questions where you have to fill in the blanks. So the question is there, you fill in the blank. The type of questions that might be asked are, light is made of blank of the rainbow, or people see colors when blank hits objects. And when you're doing a picture that has, if you're doing an assessment that has a blank, you will have some choices that you will be able to make. Another type of test taking that you might have is, let's see, you can have a test taking where you're doing a multiple choice. And this one, what is the chapter about? You get to choose this one, you get to circle the answer. In this case, we will just be picking what is the chapter about? How about what is important to know about this chapter? These are the types of things that we have to think about as we go through the book and when we're reading. All right, another type of test taking that you would have is where you have multiple choice, but you get to color in the circle where the answer is. And in this particular type of multiple choice, the questions may have more than one correct answer. It's very important to read at the top to the directions so that you can see what is expected of you. So for these questions, the questions may have more than one correct answer. You need to make sure that you check, make sure you've picked as many of the answers that are correct and color them in. If not, you may not get all the points for your correct answers. All right. Now that we've looked at some of the questions that you may have, let's think about what was the author thinking about when he wrote this story? What was the author's purpose of writing this story? Let's think about pie. When we think about author's purpose, we think about pie. Is the author trying to persuade us? Is the author trying to inform us? Or is the author trying to entertain us? Okay? Sometimes an author, when he's writing, he's trying to get you to do something or believe something. If an author is trying to inform you, he's giving you information about a topic. He just wants you to know. If an author is trying to entertain you, then there's some emotion. You might get happy. You might think something's funny. You might want to cry. That's when you're being entertained. So as we're reading this story, we want to think about pie. We want to think about what is the author's purpose. Of course, we always think about our story elements. The story elements for a story are the characters, the setting, if there's a problem, or a solution. The characters are the people in the story. Sometimes the story has animals or creatures. The setting is, where does the story take place? Sometimes not just where, but what time. Is it today, in today's time, or is it in the past? Sometimes it would be in the future. What is the problem in the story? Is there a challenge in the story? And if there's a challenge, what is the solution in the story? The other thing that we want to think about when we're reading a story is the story a fiction or a nonfiction book? If the story is fiction, it's not real. The story is designed to be enjoyable. You'll see things like illustrations. You'll have your character, your setting, and there's usually a problem and a solution, a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you'll have lots of wonderful illustrations most of the time. If a story is nonfiction, that's a real story. It's real fact talk. You're reading it to learn something. You'll have photos, you'll have charts, you might have a glossary, you might have a information for directions, you might have a table of contents. This is the type of book that is nonfiction, and it is designed to give you a fact talk. So as we're reading, we want to keep ourselves clued into what type of story is this, fiction or nonfiction. All right, let's take a second and let's read the story. bright lights and color. The students have practice for the play. Ms. Thomas gives out parts for the play. Kara will be an actor. Dale and Gavin will work on lights and sound. I want to stop and remind you guys and girls that this is chapter 3. We've already read chapter 1 and chapter 2, where we met the characters and we found out that there's going to be a play. Now, if you have not read chapter 1 and chapter 2, you might want to go back, see if you can find the story, the lesson, do those first and come back to this lesson because it might make a little bit more sense. Either way, the information is just about the same because we will be talking about light or sound. All right, the students have practice for the play. Mrs. Thomas gives out parts for the play. Kara will be an actor. Dale and Gavin will work on lights and sound. Some of the backgrounds look different on stage. Some look bright, some look dark. They look different because of their colors. Light is made of the colors of the rainbow. Each color has a wave that is a different shape. Our eyes see the wave, then our brain knows what color it is. This is very interesting. This is an illustration. The colors of the rainbow, and each color has a different shape wave. Okay? Each color has a wave that is a different shape. Our eyes see the wave, then our brain knows what color it is. That is very interesting. Light waves hit an object. Some light waves reflect off the object. They bounce back to our eyes. Some light waves are absorbed. They are soaked up by the object. So here we have our illustration of the light waves bouncing off the mirror. And here we have an example of the light waves being absorbed by the black tar that's on the street. No light is being reflected back. And here, an apple is red. The apple absorbs all light waves but red. The red light waves bounce off the apple. We see the red light waves. All light waves bounce off white things. So we see white. White light is bright. It is made of all colors. We see a rainbow when white light hits water. So the light, which is white, hits the t-shirt and it bounces off of it, and the color reflects as white. Here we have the water sprayer hitting the light. When the water hits it, it breaks into colors. All light waves are soaked up by black things. So we see black. Black things look darker. The chair is black. The waves hit it and it is absorbed. There's no light being reflected. Light waves can bounce off things. They can be soaked up by things too. People see colors when light hits objects. Next, the class will learn about sound. All right, so we've read our story. Now, let's see if we can answer some of the questions that are associated with the story. All right, here we have a multiple choice. Let's see if we can try a fill in the blank first. It says light is made of blank of the rainbow. So when we touch in the bark, we have some choices that we can make. Light is made of blank of the rainbow. And we have an opportunity to make decisions. Is it reflect, absorbs, wave, colors, light? Light waves, light is made of the blank of the color. So if you have a wrong answer, when you hit it, the color will be red. The frame around the box will be red. Let's try light is made of the colors of the rainbow. We got that right because the box around the the color around the box is green. We got that right. Light is made of the colors of the rainbow. Number 2, each color has a blank that is a different shape. Each color has a blank that is a different shape. Well, let's try light. Let's see what happens when we try the word light. Each color has a light. That is a different shape. No, that's not the right answer. Let's see if we can get the right answer for that. Each color has a wave that is a different shape. Each color has a wave that is a different shape. We have the right answer. Some light waves blank off the object. I think we remember this one very well. Some light waves blank off the object. Let's try the word reflect. Reflect means bounce. Excellent. Some light waves reflect off the object. Number 4, the apple blank all light waves but red. Think about it. The apple. The apple blank all light waves but red. Well, it either absorbs or light. I think the best answer is absorbs. The apple absorbs all light waves but red. Excellent. People see colors when blank hit objects. And here we have our final answer. People see colors when light hits objects. Very good. That was a fill in the blank. You had a word bank to help you with your answers. That was very helpful. Let's try another type of answer the questions. Here we have a multiple choice where you get to circle the best possible answer. What is this chapter about? Is this chapter about colors, sound waves, or paintings? Here we get to use our test taking strategy of slash and trash. This would be a good strategy because here, is this chapter about sound waves? We didn't hear anything in this chapter about sound waves, so we are able to slash this possible answers. How about paintings? What is this chapter about? Did we hear anything about paintings? I didn't see anything about paintings. We saw some paint, but the story wasn't about paint or paintings. So the best answer for this would be, what is this chapter about? This chapter is about colors. Excellent. We got a green box. What does each color have that is a different shape? What does each color have that is a different shape? Does each color have an apple? Oh no, that is a wrong answer. We're going to slash that. We're not even going to consider it. Does each color have a rainbow that is a different shape? No, we remember that. The rainbow was not a possibility of being different shapes. So for this one, again, we were able to slash two answers that were definitely not it. And what we come up with is, what does each color have that is a different shape? Waves. Each color each color has a different shape wave. Excellent. Number 3, what do some light waves do to an object? What will light waves do to an object? Will it cut it? Will it reflect off of it? Will it paint? We know it's not paint. We can slash and trash that one. Reflect, that's a good possibility. Cut. I do not remember in the story anything about light waves cutting. We're going to be able to eliminate that one, slash that one also. So our best possible answer is reflect off. What do some light waves do to an object? Reflect off. What does the apple do to all light waves but red? What does the apple do to all the light waves but red? Does it hide? Does it absorb? Does it act? Well, we know that the light waves, they don't hide. The apple will absorb or it will acts. The apple does not act. So our best possible answer, we can slash the other two because we know they're not a part of the story, but we know that the apple will absorb. Excellent. And then what is important to know about this chapter? And that is always a good thing to keep in mind as you're reading. What is important to know about this chapter? The students make rainbows. People see colors when light hits objects, or Kara doesn't like acting. Let's slash some of this. Kara doesn't like acting was never even mentioned in the story. So let's slash that one. We will not consider it. The story, the students make rainbows. No, no, no. There was nothing in this story about students making rainbows. So we know we're able to slash this also. The best possible answer. People see colors when light hits objects. That's what's important to remember about this chapter. Very nice. You did a very good job. Now, let's see. There's another type of test taking strategy that we need to be concerned about. Right here, we have a multiple choice test taking strategy. In this one, if you read the directions, and that is always an excellent thing to do, before you try to answer the question, read the instructions. It says these questions may have more than one correct answer. Well, if it has a more than one correct answer, if you don't put all of the correct answers in, you will not get all the points, or you may not get it right at all. So let's see an example of where there are more than one answers for the question that is being asked. Let's look at number 10. What will happen when Dale adds white paint to the background? What will happen when Dale adds white paint to the background? Let's see if we can slash and trash some of this before we make our decision. The white paint will reflect all the light. The background will look brighter. The white paint will absorb all the light. Well, this will require some thinking because we remember the properties of what the light will do. When Dale adds white paint, let's look at C. The white paint will absorb all the light. I remember that dark colors absorb all the light. Remember the chair? So white paint will not absorb. We do not want to use C as an answer, but look at A. The white paint will reflect all the light. Remember the white t-shirt? It reflected all the light. Let's try A. Excellent. The white paint will reflect all the light. And I also remember when we were reading the book that the background will look brighter was another thing that happened when we used the white paint for the background. Let's see if that's correct. Excellent. The background will look brighter. Absolutely. Now we see that this question has two right answers, and it is very important that we color in both bubbles to show that we know that both of those answers are true. Well, excellent. We have done an excellent job answering questions using our test taking strategies. Let's go back to the story itself. This story, when we were reading it, I believe it broke some of the rules. When we were reading this story was giving us facts, but it was also a story. That's breaking the rules, isn't it? What type of text structure is it? It's supposed to be either fiction or nonfiction. And this story seems to have elements of both. It seems to have elements of fiction and it seems to have elements of nonfiction. If it's fiction, it tells a story. And we're hearing about these students who are trying to get parts in a play. But all of the information is fact talk. These are facts, they're real, they're designed to give us information. So what type of text structure are we looking at? It seems to be a combination of both. Well, there is a text structure that is named that tells us about how you can have a nonfiction story that tells a story, and it's called narrative nonfiction. So this is a story. It's a story, but it's about science. And all of the information in it are true facts. and it's telling a story. So we have a narrative nonfiction. All right, I'm very proud that we were able to figure that out because if it was breaking the rules, we would have to make a correction. But this author did a very good job. Excellent. Now let's stop and think about what was this author trying to do? You remember, we have to go to pi. We have to figure out what was the author's purpose telling us this story. Was his purpose to persuade us? P, persuade. Was his purpose to inform us? I, inform. Was his purpose to entertain us? E, entertain. If he was trying to entertain us, we should have had some emotions, like we would have been happy, we would have thought it was funny, we would have been sad, maybe we wanted to cry. I don't remember having any emotions as I was reading this. I was very interested in it, but I wasn't entertained. I didn't have any emotions. And I didn't see where the author was trying to persuade us. He wasn't trying to convince us to do anything different or believe anything different. He was just giving us information. The author gave us information about a topic, and the topic was light and light waves. So we're going to conclude that the author's purpose in this story is to inform us. And I think that helps us to understand better what the story is about. It's designed to inform us, and all the information that we got is real information that we can do. All right. Well, let's see if we have satisfied everything that we had planned on doing for today. How to summarize a story. Well, we haven't summarized. Let's take a second and let's just summarize the story. Remember, a summary does not have to give all of the details. It doesn't have to tell you everything that everybody said or tell us everything that everybody did. We just want to, when we are summarizing, to tell quickly what the story is about. Say quickly what the story is about so that someone might be interested in reading it, but you don't give away all the facts before they read. So a summary could be something like this. This is a story about a group of students who met at a theater to receive their parts in a play. The director of the play explained to the students how light waves can be reflected or absorbed by different objects. That's all I'm going to say. That's a summary. I didn't tell you all about Dale and all about Mrs. Thomas, all the things that happened and everything that she said. No, I gave you a quick summary of what happened in the story. Excellent. We've done a great job. You've done a great job. I hope that I'll be able to work with you again. I've had a great time. I'll see you next time. Bye.